they want an all-star break, but what a way to go into the break.
Show and go Sox. This game, we should have been on the bus to the airport, but they still keep fighting and took advantage of an error. Again, the pitching was fantastic. Give credit to Brian Bale, the way he threw this baseball to keep you in a ball game. But you had a lot of nice wins on this road trip. They all kind of looked alike. That up-head early pitching was great. This was different. This is the way to end this first half. Yes. Outstanding.
The most memorable win of the season. The Red Sox make it 9 in a row, 14 out of 16. They win it today, 3-2 in 10 innings.
Kind of deja vu all over again, is it not? Alex Barth in for Joe Murray tonight, taking you up until 10 o'clock, shorter edition of the program tonight. I believe that's the case all week. We got Skaz behind the glass as usual. Intern Riley back there. Skaz, 10 o'clock all week? Is that plan? Yeah. So the slowest week on the sports calendar. You're going to get 3 hours of the Joe Show tonight, but we have a packed edition of the Joe Show for you. We're going to do some Red Sox talk. We got the Home Run Derby tonight with the new format once again because they just can't stop freaking trying to kill this thing. Do a little Red Sox talk, some Home Run Derby talk. We're right around the corner from training camp. We're starting to get the rankings, the lists. That's all coming out. We got some quarterback lists today, plural. There were multiple that we'll get into. And Celtic Summer League going on right now. Bobby Manning will join us tonight on what he's seen from the Celtics in the Summer League. Just some bigger picture stuff. And could the Celtics potentially make one more big swing in free agency? If you listened to me yesterday, you know what I'm talking about. If you want to join us for any of it, 617-779-0985. But let's start with the Boston Red Sox, who for the second year in a row are the hottest team in baseball going into the All-Star break. They've won 9 in a row. And 14 of their last 16 going back to, remember, they had that bad road trip, bad West Coast road trip. They did take 2 or 3 from Seattle, but then dropped 2 or 3 against Colorado with some bad losses at the end of that to a brutal Rockies team. And then it was the Yankees coming in, and the Red Sox were in last place in the league. The latest in the season, they'd been in last place in like 60 years. And oh boy, and here come the Yankees, and this is going to be rough. And then they sweep the Yankees. They swept the Yankees. They had a little stumble against the Nationals at home after that, but then 9 in a row, all on the road at the Angels, at the White Sox, at the Mets. That dramatic win that you just heard the call of there yesterday to head into the break with a real punch. I don't know about you guys. I had some flashbacks to that Ceddanne Rafaela walk-off home run against the Rays last year. And that was a Friday night. That wasn't going into the break. They did win 2 more games after that. And they were on a 10-game winning streak going into the break after that. But it's kind of the same thing. And what did they do coming out of the break last year? They were okay. They had 1 7-game win streak in the second half of the year that helped them, certainly. And they kind of just played 500 ball beyond that. And if they do the same again, I heard them talking about this on Felger and Maz earlier today with Mark Dendero. And, you know, the question, are you buying in on this Red Sox team? I don't think is the right question to be asking. Definitively, they're in the playoff mix. Like, that's not up for debate. They're in the hunt. They are a legitimate playoff contender as we sit here today in the All-Star break. They are 2 games under 500, but just half a game out of the third and final wild card spot, as ridiculous as that thing is, and baseball should get rid of it, or at least when they expand, go to 4 divisions and then go to 2 wild cards. But they're half a game out of wild card spot, and they're only 3.5 out of the second spot. And then it's 9.5 to get to the second AL East team, which right now is the Yankees. So that's a little more lofty. But they're only half a game out of a playoff spot. So no, they are definitively like oh, I don't know if they're really going to make a run. No, they're really going to make a playoff run. Like, this is happening. They do have 17 games between now and the All-Star break. They have a homestand, a 10-game homestand, all in the division against the Rays, Orioles, and Blue Jays. And then they are at the Athletics and at the Dodgers before the All-Star break. That's a total of 7 games, 4 against the Athletics, 3 against the Dodgers. So they should, unless they really trip and fall over themselves, they should be in the playoff mix. And the reality is, and I say this every year around the trade deadline, people act like the trade deadline, which is August 3rd this year for some reason, is the day to make deals. No, that's the last day you can make deals. I think you're rewarded if you make deals sooner. I've always believed that. They've got ground to make up after that sluggish start. If you have players that can help you, wouldn't you rather them help you now instead of in 2 to 3 weeks? And you know what? If you trade for them and you bottom out, then you flip them. The Braves did this a couple years ago. I don't remember who it was. It was a pitcher. They traded for him like I think the 1st or 2nd of July because they were kind of a fringy playoff team trying to make a run. They sucked in July. And then they flipped the guy to somebody else at the deadline. So you always have that option. You know, but again, to get back to the point, are you buying in on the Red Sox? As a playoff team, I think you have to. I think the numbers support it. And for what it's worth, Craig Breslow has to buy in my mind. Craig Breslow, we heard from him, how frustrating was it when they were in last place? Well, we still got 6 weeks to the deadline. We got time to figure it out. We got baseball left to play. We're not locking anything in yet. Oh, we got 5 weeks till the deadline. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We're not deciding anything yet. We got 4 weeks to deadline. It was maddening. But all right, Craig, you called your shot. It worked. Wait and see. We wait and saw. And okay, they were a playoff team. I don't know if he was really plugged in and had his finger on the pulse or if it was just dumb luck. But here we are. You can't then turn around and say, well, it's not really a team worth investing in. We're not going to make big moves at the deadline. Obviously, he's not going to say that, but with his actions. Like you said, you believed in this team. Now keep adding. And I don't want to hear the whole, well, Crochet will come back, and that's a deadline edition. And Roman Anthony will come back, and that's a deadline edition. Isaiah kind of Falefa. One, most of those guys were not playing well before they got hurt. And there's others, too, obviously, who were banged up. But no, make real tangible additions. I guess I'll give you Crochet in some of the pitchers that are banged up right now. Conley early, Ranger Suarez. They need a bat. They need a bat. So in that sense, they should be buyers at the deadline. They are in contention to make the dance. I don't think you can debate that. I don't think you look at it and say this team isn't going anywhere. No, they're in the mix. Are you buying in on the Red Sox? To me, the question is more about, okay, and then what? You know, I know Felger has this thing, just get in the tournament. Just get in the tournament, anything can happen. It is a weak American League. The top 2 teams right now are the Rays and the Yankees. The only other 50-win teams are the White Sox and the Guardians. The only other team over 500 is the Texas Rangers at 49 and 47, who, by the way, have a negative run differential, as do the Guardians at 51 and 46. Whole lot of at the top of the standings. Now you go to the National League, and just for the record, the Red Sox half a game out. They got one team between them and a playoff spot right now in the American League. If they were in the National League, they'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They would be there'd be 5 teams. They'd be 6 teams out of a wild card spot, and they would be in 6 games. That works out nicely. So it's part of it's the weak conference. But are you buying in on the Red Sox? To me, it's not about the playoffs anymore. It's about, do we think they could accomplish something once they got to the playoffs? Obviously, that would come with help at the deadline. So we wrap up this first segment. Let's go to Justin and Lynn. Justin, what's up, man?
Hey, Alex, I want to talk in particular. Chad Tracy. He's done a great job getting on this roster what he could. And I think it's a good thing that the Red Sox is 2 games under 500. I just wanted your thoughts, Alex.
So, thanks for the call, Justin. The Red Sox, I'm trying to see, Skaz dropped this in our chat earlier today. Where'd it go? The Red Sox with Chad Tracy are 36 and 31 with a plus 40 win differential. With Alex Cora, they were 10 and 17 with a minus 13. He's definitely made a difference. I think it was clear, like, Alex Cora had run his course here. I'm not going to say it was a bad move to fire him. And credit to Chad Tracy. He's done a good job. But what's crazy about this to me, what's the splits with and without Garrett Crochet? What's the splits with and without Roman Anthony? I know the splits. McCarthy's been talking about them. This whole run, this whole 14 of 16 run started right about when Marcelo Meyer went out. Trevor Story, who was supposed to be a big part of this team this year. Who else do we got? I mean, there's a million guys that they're missing. So you could do those splits with anyone, which I think is an indictment on both Cora and Breslow. The team that started winning games is not the team they had planned. It's not the team they put together this offseason. It's very different. They were not banking on Siegler. I mean, I guess they traded for Monasterio, so he was obviously going to be a part of it, but I don't think they were playing on him playing a key role. How big of a part was Nate Eaton supposed to play? He's been playing some of these pitchers. Bayo's another one. They dumped Bayo, and they started playing better. I know he came back and pitched well yesterday, but just overall. So, credit to Chad Tracy. He's done a good job. I don't want to take away from him. I don't mean this to take away from him. The more interesting thing to me is just how they've done this without the majority of what the team was supposed to be. Without most of the guys that they were supposed to have around this season. When all those guys went out, when the injuries really started piling up, that's when they turned the corner, which is something. 617-779-0985. You want to weigh in on the Red Sox, but I also want to get to the home run derby. I used to love the home run derby, and they have just, it's not what it used to be. We'll say that. They're going to try a new format tonight. Will it work? Won't it work? A big-time name in baseball does not believe in the new home run derby format. We'll hear from him after this. It's Alex Barth in for Joe Murray.
You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5.
Now, he's a little freer to talk about it than he used to be because it's not on ESPN anymore. It's on Netflix. But Jeff Passan basically being like, home run derby might suck. Love Passan, always speaks his mind. Credit to him for it. The home run derby is tonight. It starts at 8. It is on Netflix. I like some of the new rules, but it's still not as good as it used to be. I actually think it's going to be better. I actually think it's going to be better than it was, but I still don't have my hopes up. So here's the new format for you. And by the way, for the local interest here, Wilson Contreras is in the home run derby tonight. The full lineup, and it's in Philadelphia. It's at Citizens Bank Park. They have two Phillies in it this year. Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper are both taking part. Joining them is Ben Rice of the Yankees, Junior Caminero of the Rays, Jordan Walker of the Cardinals, Munetaka Murakami of the White Sox, Jack. Why can I never pronounce this? Caglianone? Jack Cags from the Royals. He's going to win it because I'm going to have to say his name a million times in headlines tonight. And I just have that mental block. And then again, Wilson Contreras from the Red Sox. That is your home run derby lineup. Here's the rule changes. The first one, and this is big. This is why I have some hope that it will be better. Not good, but better. No timer. And I get that people used to complain, it takes too long. But it's a Monday night in July. I don't know what to tell you. Well, I got things to do. Really, you can't watch until 11 o'clock instead of 10 o'clock on a Monday night in the summer? Like, I guess if you can't, I'm sorry. But I don't know. There's nothing else on. Stay up the extra hour. Doesn't bother me a ton. I think it's a relatively easy sell. Now, here's what I don't like. So if you remember, how it used to go is each player would have 10 outs. And this is what was fun about it. And this is why getting rid of the timer is a good thing. You used to get to see the guy would swing and you'd get the shot of the ball sailing, Berman, back, right? And like each home run was a thing. When they had the timer, obviously, these guys want to get in as many pitches as possible. And I think there was like a rule that the next pitch couldn't be thrown until the ball hit the ground or something. But it was very, very close. And they definitely flirted with that a little bit. But it would be split screen, and you would have the batter on one half and the ball on the other, and the camera shots constantly changing to track the ball and blah, blah, blah. And it was just impossible to watch. It was impossible to watch. It was a pain in the ass to watch that. So, out on the timer. So it used to be outs, and if the ball didn't go out, you got an out. They're still not bringing the outs back, because clearly they want that definitive time thing. So now it's swings. So you can take pitches again, which is good, because the other thing is the pitchers would get worn out. The pitchers would get worn out, but the batters didn't really want to lay off any pitch, even if it was bad, because you're just wasting time if you let it go. 20 swings in the first round, 15 in the second, 15 in the finals, and it's swing. So home run or not, you can take pitches, but when you swing, you swing. And then again, those numbers, and then you go on your last swing, right? You go until you get an out. So if you're at 19 swings in the first round and you homer, you get more pitches until you don't homer anymore. They also got rid of the bracket, which is good. Because it used to be, remember, the guy that hit the second most home runs in the round might not make it if he happened to go up against the guy that hit the first most home runs in the round. So that was a shame. I think they're doing a bracket for the second round, if I remember correctly. So, all right, it is a bracket in the second round, but I'm more okay with that. It rewards you. If you just hit enough to get in, then you can rest. It gives you incentive to keep going. I'll give you the bracket in the second round. That's fine. And then for the tiebreakers, I've never seen them do this. It's home run distance in the first round and then swing-offs. So that's how it changes. But I remember, I was a big home run derby guy growing up. I used to love the home run derby. I know Skaz is with me on this, Kevin Majori. We were talking about this earlier. My dad used to record every year on VHS. Aging myself here a little bit. And we were just there was a night there was nothing on. We'd put on the 99 home run derby or one of the old home run derbies. That used to be a thing that we did. And I remember the cool ones. And again, this is why I'm glad they got rid of the timer, but it's still not the same without the outs. Bobby Abreu hitting 24 home runs in the first round in 2005. And just like, oh my God, this could go on forever. This is crazy. It's just homer after homer after homer. And then he goes on to win the thing. And then, of course, maybe one of the most famous ones, Josh Hamilton, 28 home runs at Yankee Stadium. That was the big year he'd come back. You have the whole stadium cheering for him. Now, he lost because I think he got so tired hitting all those home runs in the first round. Justin Morneau actually won. He beat him 5-3 in the finals in 2008. But you would get every couple years these first rounds. Cespedes had one where guys would just go nuts. And then obviously, I mean, in 99, everybody, and that was a different format too. That's back when they broke it up, American League, National League. But you never knew when it was going to end, and that was part of the fun of it. So I'm in on the home run derby. I'm in on it. I will give these new rules a chance. I think they are better. I don't think they are good. I still think this is an event that has gotten a lot worse than it was in its heyday. I know some people are going to complain it's too long. I just think that enough people were watching that, all right, people are going to complain. You deal with it. The most watched home run derbies, according to Wikipedia, I know this isn't like the best source, but I just have it here. 08, 2017, 09, 04, 02, 2021, 15, 12, 07, 06. So the majority of those, and by the way, the drop-off from the first three to the rest is significant. 2008, that was the Josh Hamilton year. Justin Morneau won. It was at Yankee Stadium. Like, that one obviously has some extra juice. It was the last year of the old Yankee Stadium. 9.1 million viewers. 2017, 8.6. Prince Fielder won in 2009, 8.3. Miguel Tejada, Jason Giambi, 04, 02, 7.7. So you were doing better numbers when you did the outs. Why not go back to it? It's just another event that is not as good as it used to be. And I will be a little bit of an old man get off my lawn about this, to the point where before the show, we were brainstorming. And I'll give you this prompt, 617-779-0985. Sporting events from, I'm 32. I'm saying my childhood, but if you're older and you want to say your childhood, or you're younger and maybe I'm missing something, just sporting events that used to be great, used to be appointment viewing, but suck. I think the home run derby at one point in time was appointment viewing, as much as you can get on a Monday in July, right? They peaked at 10 million. Great. People used to love the home run derby. It was a big event. It was a big event on the baseball calendar. It's not anymore. Maybe it can get back there. I don't think it's as far gone as some of the other things on this list. But sporting events that used to be good, but now suck, or just got worse. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 9 here. Some of them have some overlap. I have 9 events here. Curious what you guys have. 617-779-0985. We'll take a look at those, but first, a look at the Sports Hub headlines.
Sports Hub headlines.
The Red Sox won yesterday against the New York Mets in 10 innings. They go into the All-Star break at 46-48, half a game out of the final wild card spot. Of course, they're off tonight as the All-Star break begins. It is the MLB Home Run Derby in Philadelphia. That'll get underway at 8 o'clock. Wilson Contreras representing the Red Sox in this one. Meanwhile, the Celtics, they are in Summer League action right now, late in the fourth quarter, and they are losing big to the Atlanta Hawks, 94-67. Chris Senick leads the team with 16 points in 19 minutes. And the World Cup continues tomorrow with the first of 2 semifinal matches. France and Spain play at 3 o'clock. Then on Wednesday, it's England and Argentina. That game also at 3 o'clock. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Michelob Ultra. Watch the world's biggest matchups with 98.5 The Sports Hub. Details at 985thesportshub.com. Presented by Michelob Ultra, the official beer sponsor of the FIFA World Cup 2026. I'm Alex Barth on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8 o'clock.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub.
this as I'm literally doing a segment. It's like, back in my day, things were better. Going full Grandpa Simpson on you. But I'm going to power through and do it anyway. And I'll open it up to you on the floor, on the phone, 617-779-0985. Skaz, because me and Skaz, I think, are we the exact same age? Are you also
93? I was born
late 93?
December.
Okay, so we're high school classes.
Yes, 2012.
Yeah. Sporting events from our childhoods that now suck. And I say this in honor of the Home Run Derby, which is tonight. And I kind of just talked about it. I used to love the Home Run Derby. It was like me and my buddies would get together, throw something on the grill. We'd watch the whole thing. Like it was an event. You'd record it. Somewhere my dad has a bunch of old Home Run Derbies on VHS tapes. It was a good event. It was a good, fun event. It's not that anymore. The clock killed it. We'll see this year, no clock if it brings it back. They should bring back the outs. You want to say it's less than 10 outs. You want to say it's 7 outs to keep it moving, fine. There was something about the suspense of not knowing when it ends. That the Home Run Derby used to be a great event, now sucks. Along those lines, the MLB All-Star Game used to be a great event. It's not what it once was. The star power is not as good. There's something about the aesthetic of it that's not the same. Remember they used to have the players wear their actual uniforms? They don't do that anymore because you got to sell All-Star jerseys. Not as good. All right, you ready for the rest of these? Non-baseball? Most of these are non-baseball. I think I have one more that's like loosely baseball. I'll do that one first. After the All-Star Game, they used to do a celebrity softball game. That was fun. I don't know who any of the celebrities are. This might just be because I'm old. I don't like that one. Right along the lines, the Home Run Derby. The Slam Dunk Contest. Slam Dunk Contest used to be a great event. Again, that was like appointment viewing. That was a big night on the NBA calendar. And I don't know if the dunkers are out of ideas or what it is. I haven't watched it in years. Like the Home Run Derby, I'll still usually watch, even though it's not as good. I don't even watch the dunk contest anymore. I'll get the highlights on social media. And the highlights are not real highlights usually. It's kind of disappointing. You can throw the NBA All-Star Game in with it. I don't know that the NBA All-Star Game was ever an amazing product. Like the MLB All-Star Game was. That was held in the Midsummer Classic. That was held in very high regard. And the NBA All-Star Game was okay. I mean, it wasn't bad. But it hasn't fallen off like the dunk contest has. What I will include, although maybe it's more at the NBA All-Star Game, this is more about how bad it's gotten. I don't know that the Pro Bowl was ever great, but at least they used to play a semblance of real football, and it was in Hawaii, which was kind of cool. It was after the Super Bowl, so everybody was involved. Now they play dodgeball on a Tuesday night in a convention center? Terrible. Horrible. So the Pro Bowl was never great, but it's fallen so far. Skaz, would you say this is fair? The Pro Bowl was never great, and I know it's great events that now suck, but it's fallen so far, I think it has to be included because even for what it was, it's really bottomed out.
It's almost so bad that I don't even consider it in the conversation because it's irrelevant. Nobody cares about the Pro Bowl. The players don't care. It seems like the league itself doesn't really care about the Pro Bowl anymore.
Yeah,
the Pro Bowl is an embarrassment.
All right, now here's one you pushed back on, but I'm going to say this with my whole chest. I'm going to stand on this. This event isn't necessarily bad. It hasn't fallen off the way the dunk contest or the home run derby have, but when you think about it, it's a lot worse than it was 10 years ago. March Madness. I think March Madness, it does not hit the same as it used to. You get fewer upsets. With NIL, the players are all moving around. You don't really know. College basketball as a whole has fallen off. I don't think there's the same star power. They're going to add more teams to it now, which is just going to further water it down. You're going to get more bad games. Skaz, is this unfair? I'm going March Madness.
I think it's a little unfair. I think, everyone it gets a little defensive about, what happened in their childhood, and nostalgia is a hell of a drug. I think the NCAA tournament, if you want to say it's slightly down because of expansion, fine, but I'd still point to, Michigan and UConn. I think there's still something there with the March Madness that is unique in and of itself in a sporting event.
What if I said the first weekend of March Madness?
Yeah, I would say...
You don't get the chaos you used to get. It's just not the same.
I'm just a sucker for college basketball, so maybe you're barking up the wrong tree. But I do get like the watered down aspect of it, and I'm certainly with you. The name recognition thing, that seems to be a problem just with the NIL in general, and these guys hopping schools and just not staying at a school and building a legacy at all anymore. There is no more college basketball legacies.
Because you used to get Perry Ellis, you'd see him every year.
Tyler Hansborough, you hated them. Guys like that, they don't exist. They're one and done.
So I'm putting March Madness on the list. A few more. I was talking to Jimmy Stewart about this. Just as a whole, NHL, NBA, MLB regular seasons. Expanded playoffs, they don't mean as much. The NFL regular season is still good. The rest of the regular seasons, a little watered down. The concept of Monday Night Football and Sunday Night Baseball. Those used to be big events. They don't really feel that way anymore. Monday Night Football a little bit, but kind of Sunday nights become the premier game. And, once they added Thursday night, Monday night, it used to be the only game that wasn't on a Sunday, and they changed that. And I'll throw that on there. And one more that I came up with is the NFL international games. Those used to be a big deal. That used to be like a special kind of thing. If your team was playing in it, it was cool. And there were like only one or two a year. And they were decent games. And now there's like 10 of them. And half of them involve the Jaguars or the Jets. And they just suck. So the Home Run Derby and the Slam Dunk Contest, I think, are the apex of this. But I'll open it up to you. 617-779-0985. Sporting events that you used to love that now suck. Eric in Texas on the NBA All-Star Game. Eric.
Yeah, hey, thanks, Alex. It's nice to hear you on the radio.
Thank you.
It's a good topic for this time of year because there's not a lot going on right now, which is really cool. Cool by you. So first off, in general, I'll tell you, you nailed a lot of them. And kind of if you step back from it, you're kind of talking about the decline of sports just aren't as good as they once were. But I will say my number one is the NBA All-Star Game. There was a time when in the 80s, and I'm old, the 80s, you had Bird, Magic, still another reason for them to battle. You had the Sixers having to play with Celtics to try and get a win. Nowadays, it's mostly let's see who can take and make the most ridiculous shot. There's no defense played. It's just not very entertaining at all. And most of them are all friends, so there's nothing that really is exciting about this game anymore. So I also will agree with you about the March Madness. It is not quite as good as it once was because you just don't have those mid-majors that really have a shot to run deep. They might pull an upset off. They're not getting 2 or 3 in a row just because of the NIL. So you nailed it with your ideas. I get the NHL and NFL not being as competitive just because there's just the chance for so much injury from those. But yeah, the home run contest, not that great. NBA All-Star Game, not good at all. And then just some of the other things. I think you've done a great job with this topic, and I'll hang up and hear what you want to pick on me about because I'm 59 years old and I don't want you on my grass. I don't even want you in Texas on some days. So you guys take it easy, and thanks for keeping me entertained tonight.
Thank you very much, Eric. I appreciate it. I agree with most of that. Ironically, the one thing when I was talking about the Pro Bowl was you at least used to have the moment Sean Taylor takes out Brian Moorman, the punter for the Bills, and that was like an iconic moment. And then it's like, I understand why they maybe don't want to do that in a meaningless game. But you still had like Jeff Saturday coming back to snap with Peyton Manning and things like that. And there were cool moments, and it's not what it was. Not that it was ever much, but it's not what it was. Kevin in the car, I think, wants to push back on this a little bit. Kevin.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Good. So, I mean, I get it. Like the home run derby, I'm not trying to say it's like the Major League Baseball playoffs, right?
Right.
But my son and I watch it every year, and we like some of the players, or we like most of them. But I think the reason why I think it's such a tired take is because every time I hear it, somebody's like, it was better when I was 9, and I don't like it anymore because I'm 35. And it's like, well, I mean, I feel people feel the same way about Star Wars because you thought the Ewoks were cool because you were 6 years old. And if the Ewoks came out tomorrow, you'd be like, they're teddy bears. I mean, it's just like the game is not that important. Obviously, other things are more important. But the whole, like, I can't see the fact that I'm looking at it through a 10-year-old's eyes versus a 40 or 5-year-old's eyes. I never hear that. I just hear it used to be good. And it gets to be a little bit like that, get off my lawn, like the last guy said. And I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
Yeah, Kevin, maybe that's something. I also don't know if that Ewok thing was a How I Met Your Mother reference, because there's a bit in that show about exactly what he described, but good poll if it was. I want to like it, though. I don't think maybe it is that way for some people. They're just not kids anymore. And look, would I rather watch Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, Ken Griffey, and Barry Bonds do this than whoever's up tonight? Yeah, like objectively. But there's also some of just like, I want to like it. I know it can be good. I know what it looks like when it's good. At 32 years old, if you showed me they each get 10 outs and we're going to let it rip, I'd be invested. There's definitely some like romanticizing the childhood of it, but I think the format's a big part of it. I think the format changing hurt it. I'd be curious if people who grew up watching it with the timer, and I think they introduced the timer in the late 2010s, if I remember correctly. Oh, no, it was 2015. Wow. And then they tweaked it a few times. So if you grew, if you're, 10, 11 years old, you really only grew up with the timer. Even if you're like 13 or 14, you probably only really remember it with the timer. Then I'm curious what they are going to think tonight, seeing it without that. And maybe they'll like it better. Maybe they'll look back at it and say, oh, no, wait, this is much better than what I grew up with, if they'll see it that way. There's also, remember the Gold Ball? So it used to be sponsored by, what was the company? Was it Century 21? This was one of my favorite things. It was Century 21 Real Estate, and they had a gold ball. Once you got to 9 ounces, it was the gold ball. With the gold ball, they would donate, and it kept a tracker on the screen as Century 21 would donate X amount of money for every gold ball home run. But then the other thing was each Homer Derby contestant was paired with somebody who I think won a house or some money towards a house or whatever, if that person won. So they'd cut to these people sitting on the side who were nervous as hell about it, which was kind of fun. So I don't know. Maybe that's a childhood thing. As an adult, I could relate to that even more now. Oh, you got a house on the line? You're going to get mortgage paid? That's on the line for this? I can feel that. Living in this housing market, that would be intense. Are you kidding me? So I don't know. I mean, there's definitely a little bit of just romanticizing it from childhood, but I think that I think that it's just a format made it worse. I see you guys lining up for these 617-779-0985 if you want to weigh in. We are going to hit a quick this or that early because we're only 3 hours tonight, but we'll go back to your calls at the top of the hour. It's Alex Barth in for Joe Murray.
For a dirty deed, I'm the best. Success is guaranteed.
All right, I think I called it this or that before, so my apologies. It is not 10 to 2. It is in or out with Alex Barth in for Joe Murray tonight. We'll get back to your phones in a minute. Again, the prompt I have for you, a sporting event from your childhood that you loved, that was must-watch TV, that now isn't as good or kind of sucks. 617-779-0985. I'll give you one more quick before we get into it. Just boxing as a whole. Boxing used to be good. Now it sucks. It's just celebrities, wash celebrities doing nonsense. Just boxing. I have no specific event. It's just not as good. All right, Skaz, in or out, what do you got for me?
All right, Barth, an abbreviated in or out, an abbreviated night show tonight, Monday, July 13th. Welcome. Let's see. It is a Joe Murray show, so we'll start with some food, as we often do on the night show. Our friends over at KFC finally announced earlier today, popcorn chicken is back in the United States. Alex Barth, are you in or out on the return of popcorn chicken?
In on popcorn chicken. I used to love KFC popcorn chicken. That was like, remember when you were growing up before you had your license, you had school, and then you had like your after school thing, and like you'd have to try to find dinner in between. Your mom would take you somewhere. There was for those who grew up around where I grew up, Cobb's Corner, the combo KFC A&W. It wasn't there that long. I think it was only there like 3 or 4 years. Oh, did that hit the spot. KFC popcorn chicken and a root beer float after a long day of after school activities. In.
Life was good. You know, the home run derby was great back then, too.
Yes.
You know, well, everything. Hard in on that one. From KFC to NASA, as we often do. NASA is looking for volunteers to spend a year living in a simulated moon and Mars habitat. Participants will complete mock spacewalks, rover missions, and have to use a non-flushable toilet. You'll have to take part in a physical exam to qualify for a spot. Alex Barth, are you in or out on volunteering to spend a year living in a simulated moon and Mars habitat?
I think I'm out. I would personally be very interested in going to space. I think it would be cool. I think experiencing zero gravity would be sick. And I think just seeing the Earth from that perspective would be very powerful. Like those pictures we got from the Artemis missions. I don't think you get to do either of those in a simulation, though. No, you're just like living in a shed in some warehouse in Florida or Houston or Birmingham, Alabama or something. No, I'm out. I'm in on the idea of going to space. I'm out on the idea of simulating going to space. All the bad parts about going to space without actually getting to go to space. Out.
I'm with you on that one. No, thank you. An art museum is causing waves after covering one of its floors in 800 pounds of peanut butter. Enough to make 15,000 sandwiches. Visitors are warned about the smell and cannot touch or walk on the installation. Barth, are you in or out on visiting a museum to see 800 pounds of peanut butter?
Yeah, I kind of want to see how much peanut butter that is. I have no concept of it. Warned about the smell. Well, I guess if it's been there for a few days, I would hope they refrigerate the room, air condition the room. I like the way peanut butter smells, but after a few days, I can see how that would be rank. Where is this?
This is in the Netherlands. It is a 270 square foot hexagon made of peanut butter that is 800 pounds.
That's a far way to travel. I'm in. What the hell? I'm in.
All right, Barth, from peanut butter to, let me see here. Where do we want to go next? Let's go to the movies, Barth. It was announced earlier today a Nightmare on Elm Street remake is in the works at Paramount. The film will adapt Wes Craven's original screenplay with Freddy Krueger there. Are we in or out on a Nightmare on Elm Street remake?
I'm out generally on remakes overall. Come up with new ideas. Get your own ideas. If they were going to do like another Freddy Krueger movie, but it was going to be like its own thing, sure, have at it. By all means. I don't care. Come up with your own ideas. I did see we're getting more information for the Spaceballs sequel, which I am very in on. More excited about.
Can't wait for that. Hard in on the Spaceballs
All-timer.
sequel. Netflix has been a topic tonight as the Home Run Derby is taking place there. Netflix also in the news because they are developing a competition series based on the board game Monopoly. Players will compete on a life-size Monopoly board with a prize of $2 million. Alex Barth, are we in or out on Netflix Monopoly competition series?
I was always a Monopoly guy. Yeah, it sounds fun. Sure. I'm not a big reality TV guy. I don't know if I'd watch it. Sounds fun to take part in.
At least it's not really new because it's Monopoly.
No,
but
it's a little different.
New-ish.
It's a little different.
We'll
yeah, I'll give him that.
All right, Barth, we will end with this tonight. Are you an everything seasoning guy?
Only on bagels, really.
Well, our friends over at Land O'Lakes have dropped every little thing seasoned butter. Are you in or out on everything seasoning butter?
You know what? I think that plays.
I think it might play.
I think that play because you can put that on a bagel. You can put that on toast. Yeah. Okay. That is an everything season. Like people put it on like chicken or fish. I'm like, no, it's different. It's a morning flavor. On butter though makes sense to me. Yeah. Okay. I'm in.
I think I could be convinced. I'd give it a try. And here, I said that was the last one. I lied. We got a kind of football one for you here, Barth. The Rams, the Los Angeles Rams, will give away replica Super Bowl rings to their first 60,000 fans who attend their Week 6 game against the Cardinals. Are we in or out on Rams giving out replica Super Bowl rings to their Week 6 fans?
Wait, why is it Week 6?
That I don't know.
Now I got to see if they're playing Week 6.
Cardinals. They're playing the Arizona Cardinals.
I get.
Also, what's the stadium seat? 70,000.
Yeah,
You're giving away
people like I have like
rings?
a replica Red Sox ring. I know what it is. It's metal and the jewels are plastic, and
Joe Murray got it for me. Shout out Joe Murray.
I guess it's a cool thing to have, but I don't know. It's also like years ago. Like if the Seahawks were doing it, that would be one thing. If the Seahawks were doing it for the opener, I'd be in on that. That's kind of cool. First game back, you're raising the banner. All the fans are going to have rings on. Yeah. Okay, I'd be in on that. That's kind of a neat thing to do. And those tickets are very expensive. Like, yeah, give those fans a little something. They paid the extra. Week 6, like, years after you won it? No, I'm good. But they're going to win it again because they're going to get Aaron Donald back. He was at their facility this weekend. So they can do that. They can try again next year. 617-7, is that it?
That'll wrap up a Monday night edition of In or Out.
All right, 617-779-0985. Again, we'll get back to your calls. Sporting events that used to be good, but now suck. In the spirit of the Home Run Derby. Just the headlines, no commercials. We're right back to your calls. It's Alex Barth in for Joe Murray.
From the Town Fair Tire Studio, this is
strong finger all up and down.
This is home of the 18-time world champion Boston Celtics. WBZ FM and HD Boston 98.5. The Sports Hub. Sports Hub headlines.
The Red Sox, with their dramatic win over the Mets yesterday, go into the wild card break at 46-48, half a game out of a wild card spot. Did I just say wild card break? All-Star break. I'm having a weird night. It is the All-Star break. The Home Run Derby is tonight. Wilson Contreras is in it, along with Kyle Schwarber, Ben Rice, Junior Caminero, Jordan Walker, Bryce Harper, Munetaka Murakami, and Jag Caglione from the Kansas City Royals. It's getting underway here momentarily. The Celtics played a Summer League game tonight, and they got beat by the Atlanta Hawks, 102-190. Chris Senek led the team with 16 points in 20 minutes. He also had 4 blocks. And the World Cup resumes tomorrow. France takes on Spain in the first semifinal at 3 o'clock. Second semifinals on Wednesday between England and Argentina. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Super Service Today, currently hiring plumbers, experienced HVAC techs, and drain cleaning techs for their growing Danvers shop. Enjoy top pay, medical, dental, and vision, paid vacation, and holidays. Apply now at superservicetoday.com/careers. I'm Alex Barth on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8:30.
Are you actually coaching the game, or it's just that is? I feel so strongly about that. I can't even tell you.
Boston Talk Sports here.
What do we got?
The Sports Hub.
Back here on the Joe Show, Alex Barth in for Joe Murray. You guys have been hanging on. Like I said, in the spirit of the All-Star game, the Home Run Derby, the All-Star game too. But the Home Run Derby, which I used to love, until about 10 years ago when they started messing around with the format and they added a timer and things like that. Sporting events that used to be great, that you used to love, that used to be appointment viewing. but now suck. Start with Pete in Pembroke. Pete.
Hey, Barth, how's it going?
Hey.
I got a couple here that obviously, don't have that same exact ring, but kind of lost its touch. So one being Maction, I think, now with so many more NFL games on the weekday, that Tuesday night game less people care about it. I think when we were younger, way more people were watching.
Well, I think also other conferences like the Sun Belt starts playing during the week a month before the MAC does.
Right. There's a Wednesday game sometimes. There's a few. Maui on Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Plenty of other tournaments. Again, they kind of all just got washed down. And then I got two other that are not exactly sports related to the national broadcast, but I think the Thanksgiving football game locally, now they're playing that on like Wednesday nights. I feel like when we were younger, it was kind of a lot more people would be there Thursday. And then not football related, or football related, but TV show Hard Knocks. Rarely no one's watching. I feel like that was appointment television back in the day as well. I'll hang up and listen. Thanks.
Thanks, Pete. Hard Knocks is a good one. Hard Knocks used to be excellent. And then what happened is J.J. Watt learned, I think it was the Dolphins snap count by watching the show. So they cut out like all the football. And it completely changed it. Hard Knocks, that's a good one. I miss Last Chance U. I always thought that was the football documentary or docuseries behind the scenes thing that did it for me was Last Chance U. Yeah, Hard Knocks, not the same as it once was. And you have teams doing their own Hard Knocks now. Obviously, the Patriots have forged in Foxborough. I think there's a new episode coming out this week. They'll get Hard Knocks in a couple next summer. But, yeah, not quite the same. I disagree with Thanksgiving football. That's still a big event. And, yeah, the game sometimes sucks, but the lines have always sucked. Maybe the Wednesday night game kills it. Maybe we add it to the list in 5 years. For now, still a big event. I'm still in on it. Meanwhile, with the Home Run Derby, all right, you want to sell the All-Star jerseys. The players used to wear the All-Star jerseys in the Derby and their regular jerseys in the game. Do that. They're wearing their regular jerseys for the Derby. They don't need to do that. Let's go to John in New York, has a hockey-related one. John.
Yeah, peripherally hockey. I would say, first of all, you're right about the Derby. Anyone who didn't see Bobby Abreu really is in no right to comment on this one. That Bobby Abreu situation was epic. But
oh, yeah.
I would say the Olympics, if you take out hockey. So hockey is still as dope as it always was, but the rest of the Olympics, especially summer, but for me the winter too, doesn't have the luster it once did.
Okay, yeah. I think the Olympics is a weird one because it's every 4 years, so it comes along at very different points. It's also depending on where it is, like when they have it in the halfway across the world and it's live at 1 a.m. and you only have the pre-records. Well, there's social media, so that changes it. Yeah, I give you the Olympics a little bit. I think there's very unique circumstances to the Olympics that it's just very different every time it comes around. Like the Home Run Derby was part of the yearly routine. That kind of thing. Hard Knocks, part of the yearly routine. I think the Olympics, by not being an annual event, maybe lands a little bit outside of this list. But I understand where you're coming from. There's definitely a case to be made for it. Dave in the car. Dave.
Hi, Alex.
Hey.
My nominee would be the whole college bowl system. When I was a kid, all the bowl games were huge. Now, obviously, the playoff system has come and replaced it a lot. But, it used to be a big deal on New Year's Day to sit and watch all the New Year's Day games. And now some teams don't even want to go to the bowl game or play as a sitting-out bowl game. So something that definitely was big when I was a kid has lost its luster for sure.
Yeah, Dave, really good one. Thanks for the call. Bowl games. And we understand why this is happening because of the college football playoff, but the non-major bowls have been watered down. Players don't play in them anymore except the Pop-Tart Bowl. Shout out. Awesome event. But the New Year's Six is, if they're playoff games, they're good, but they're also structured differently. They've moved the Rose Bowl back now. Like the time of the game has changed, so you don't get that fourth quarter sunset. It runs super late, right? You made the semifinal games, which are bowl games, don't come until like a week later than they usually would. Like traditional bowl games, the 6 big ones. Yeah, bowl game's a good one. I'd almost throw Army-Navy in there, too. It's trending that way. Maybe not yet, but I do think it's trending that way a little bit. Good submission. What are you guys yelling about back there? I just heard Riley get all excited. What's going on? Did somebody famous
Riley's
share
out of
her
control
reel?
tonight. She's taping TikTok. She's teaching Street Team Joe. She's underslept or overslept.
Yeah, I thought she said she had no energy.
Yeah, I know. It's the youth. We're old. We're unk. That's what I'm.
Hey.
See, Barth, you only get this every once in a while. I get this every night with the interns. I got two interns born in 2006.
That
it's
hurts.
tough. Yeah,
this intern group this summer is awesome. They've gone above and beyond.
Content.
All of them. Riley's done a great job. Aurora, we got Xavier. I know I'm forgetting some of their names. I apologize. I get to know more when training camp comes around, and they shout at me at training camp. But it's been an awesome intern class. Skaz, that reminds me, as we're in All-Star Weekend, it might have been Kyle Fabrizio who was producing. It was and it was one of his first times. It was one of the younger producers here. And I was talking about, I don't remember do you remember Jock Jones?
Of course.
The outfielder Jock Jones from the Twins? And I was reminiscing on that outfield that was him. It was Jock Jones, Shannon Stewart, right? And then Torrey Hunter. It was a great outfield. He goes, Torrey Hunter? I'm like, yeah, it's a great outfield. It's like, the old guy from the Tigers? I'm like, you don't know about Torrey Hunter? He's one of the best center fielders of his era?
Barth, I had to teach Riley about Nomar. I mean, that's where we're at these days.
No, but whoever it was, he had never seen the clip. Like, all right, when you're growing up, somebody robs a home run. Somebody reaches over the wall, makes a catch, brings it back. What kind of catch did you call that?
Yeah, it was a Torrey Hunter.
It was a Torrey Hunter catch because he did a Barry Bonds the All-Star game.
And Barry Bonds picked him up and put him over his shoulder.
Right. I burned into my memory. I think it was Kyle. I made him take a lap around the office because I was so offended that he didn't remember that.
It's like when Jeremy Conley made Street Team Joe take a lap because he'd never watched The Simpsons before. He kicked him out of the studio. I think rightfully so.
How do you miss The Simpsons?
It's a tough one. Tough one to miss.
Has he seen it since?
Some. He's working on it.
Well, he doesn't need to watch the last 10 years of them, but...
Yeah, that's what we told him.
That's wild. Anyway, shout out Torrey Hunter. Was that 2002, right? Yeah, here it is. I have it right here, 2002. Great defense out for him, Shannon Stewart, Jock Jones. Great outfield. I don't remember how that came up. Back then, originally. But I don't know why I was talking about Jock. Oh, because the Red Sox had the reliever Joe Jacks or whatever it was, and it looked the same. Anyway, it is the Home Run Derby. It is All-Star Week. And we'll keep it posted on it. They still haven't started. Oh, here's a good... All right, I'm getting some on Twitter now, actually. Sporting events that used to be good but aren't. NASCAR? I was never a huge NASCAR guy, but the thing with the stages and the races and all that, and they changed the cars, yeah. Maybe. I don't follow it enough, but I could see how you get there. This is a really good one. It's not a sports event. Stadium names. Stadiums used to have real cool names. Now it's mostly corporate. Let's go to Keith in New Hampshire. There's one more. Keith.
I'm wanting to tune in to, the Home Run Derby right now, and I realize that I have to buy a streaming service, Netflix, to watch the freaking Home Run Derby.
That is correct.
That is absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, they're putting it all on straight. They got games on there now, and this is the new reality.
How much more money do these owners need? I mean, we've got John Henry, the cheapest billionaire that I've ever seen, not wanting to spend a dime on our team. And how much more money do they need? These cheap billionaires, and we can't even watch the Home Run Derby. That is disgusting.
Yeah, Keith. I mean, I get why thanks for the call. I get why people are annoyed by it. This is the way it is now. Like Amazon and Netflix, and they're in the rights battles for these broadcast deals, right, with NBC and CBS and Fox and ABC, ESPN. That's the new reality of it. And if you don't have the streaming service, that sucks. I feel for you. Another way that they're kind of hurting this event. I'll be interested to see the numbers tonight. By the way, Wilson Contreras, of course, taunted the crowd in Philly before he was as he was introduced at the Home Run Derby. If you can't see it because it's on Netflix, and I feel for it, it's annoying because even if you do have Netflix, they got this ridiculous 20-minute pregame for the Home Run Derby, which they came on the air at 7 o'clock. You can't flip over to another channel and flip back that easy. You got to go app to app, and I can do the whole Felger thing. So if you don't have it for whatever reason, we'll keep you posted as soon as they get started. I do want to talk some football, though. We are getting into the build-up to training camp. The annual ESPN quarterback ranking list came out today. Where did they have Drake May? Where did they have Drake May? I'll tell you next. It's Alex Barth in for Joe Murray on the Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe. You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5. You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Comes.
Probably should be a little lower. It's because he's been hurt. Lamar Jackson, 5. Highest ranking 1, lowest ranking unranked. Yeah, Jackson's top 5, not top 3. I'd probably put him ahead of Burrow. Might put him ahead of Mahomes. Again, it's how much. Mahomes is a weird one. How much do you want to gauge that injury? And that's kind of a wild card in it. Number 6, if you're still waiting for somebody. Dak Prescott. Highest ranking 3, lowest ranking unranked. Last year, unranked. Dak did have a very good year last year. He did. It's 6 a little high. Number 7, Justin Herbert. Highest ranking 5, lowest ranking unranked. Last year's ranking 7. Too high. Very good regular season quarterback, but you got to weigh playoff success in this. I think you have to. Number 8, Drake May. Highest ranking 5, lowest ranking unranked. And again, it's just the top 10. So unranked means he wasn't in their top 10. Last year unranked, that's fair. He hadn't proven anything. Fowler notes that May appeared on more than 60% of the ballots. That means 40% of those polled did not have Drake May in the top 10. Fowler also notes he earned many fifth-place votes. So the league very divided on him. Quote, size, athleticism, accuracy, playmaking, upside through the roof, poise, and toughness, an NFL coordinator said. He had 0 weapons and a shaky OL and made it all work. He's really talented, but I need to see more, a veteran NFC defensive coach said. Other quarterbacks on this list have proven it over time, but he's got to keep doing that. Well, I thought it's about the here and now. So not everybody in agreement on how they were polled. By the way, rounding out the top 10, Jared Goff, Caleb Williams. Sam Darnold, the top honorable mention, I do think needs to be higher. He just won a Super Bowl. I think they got the right top 10. You could debate Darnold, Caleb Williams, Jordan Love, Brock Purdy, Baker Mayfield, I think, for that 10th spot. But I think they got him right. I just think the order is kind of messed up. I do think Drake May should be higher. I don't think... Let's see. I would put him ahead of Herbert. I'd put him ahead of Dak. That's probably where I'd have him. I disagree with the order of the top 5, but I think, again, Mahomes is weird because of the knee, but if we're going to assume he's going to come back and be the same guy, Allen, Mahomes, Stafford, Burrow, Lamar, that's the top 5. I think Drake May is right there knocking on that door. Because you got to give a little credence. It was only 1 year. I think if it's the here and now, he should be higher than Herbert. He should be higher than Dak. But yes, it's only 1 season. If you want to be a little unsure, I'll give you that. I would have probably had him 6 on my list. But that's how the league sees him. He's apparently a little underrated in the league, I would say. If 40% of the league decision makers polled don't think he's top 10 at the position. I mean, he's clearly top 10. He was runner-up for the MVP last year with not much around him. I don't think he had no weapons. Diggs can still play. Hunter Henry's a good player. We can end that there, and they're not amazing, but they're fine. He showed it. One other Patriot who was represented, by the way, Christian Gonzalez, number 3 at corner, behind Patrick Surtain and Derek Stingley. Highest ranking 2, lowest ranking 10. But an interesting note on Gonzalez as we wait for this extension. Ranked ahead of Devin Witherspoon. And I'm sure that will be coming up in a boardroom somewhere down in the new Patriots facility at some point in the coming days. He waits for that contract. He shut everything down when we played him, an NFL offensive coach said. We couldn't squeeze a drop. He was the main reason why size, ball skills, can play presser man. He's got it all. Another note, and this has been out there about him, his game is a bit finesse at times, an NFL personnel evaluator said, but he's got tons of traits, long, can run and cover. The idea of the position is to cover the other guy, and he can do that very well. I thought he was a lot more physical this year. I know that was the knock on him coming out, and yeah, I thought he was a little timid his first couple years. He really amped up the physicality this year. And some people get stuck in their pre-draft, however, their pre-draft takes. And they probably hang with them a little longer than they should, even when they're proven to be false. That, to me, is the Gonzalez finesse thing. Look, He's not Brian Dawkins. I don't think anybody expect him to be. I don't even think he really can be in this game. I thought he did a good job of being more physical this year. Meanwhile, Wilson Contreras has been letting it rip at the home run derby. Just hit his 13th home run with one swing left. 479. Well, I want to put this in the headline, so we'll drag this out a second here and give you Wilson Contreras' number. I believe he was the first to go. So setting the pace, and it's 20 swings. You get 20 swings, and then when you get to your last swing, you can keep swinging until you don't hit home run. So in theory, you can hit more than 20. But really, the number is 20. He's at 13 right now with one swing left. That's probably going to get it done. One or two might help, but get you in the top half. You might be a lower seed. But see, this is great. Like I was saying before, you can actually the visuals of it are excellent because you don't have the split screen and multiple balls in the air at the same time. You're just watching the ball fly, and it's fun. Although he's not. He just took 4 pitches in a row. I know he's down to his last swing, but he's being very picky here. Nope. But good start. I would think 14, 15 probably gets you in to the next round. Maybe not comfortably. Oh, look at that. Is that going to get out? That is high. Too high? Oh, I think it scraped the wall coming down. Yeah. So Wilson Contreras finishes with 13 home runs. He was the first to go. He just needs 4 players to hit less than 13. And he will be moving on to the next round. We'll get you caught up on that and more in the Sports Hub headlines.
Sports Hub headlines.
Talking some football with training camp just a couple of weeks away. ESPN put out their executive quarterback ranking list today. Drake May coming in at number 8. Mike in Providence calling in with a thought on Drake May. Mike, how you doing this evening?
Good. How are you, Barthy?
Good.
First of all, Thanksgiving Day football, I think, is taking a downturn. It used to be marquee matchups. You got to put the big names in there. No more Lions, no more Packers, right? You got to do something different there. For Drake May,
no, I think you need the Lions. That's part of the tradition.
I know, but if they're not good, I mean, wouldn't you rather
part
be
of it.
more
I
of
get what you're saying. I think it's part of it.
Yeah.
A couple people said Thanksgiving maybe have to put it on the list. I disagree, but maybe you guys are right.
For Drake May, right? I understand 8. If he comes out this year, he's got some new weapons on the offense, maybe a stronger O-line, and if he goes out there and gives you 10 to 12 wins, first round, second round, next day of the playoffs, I'm not expecting much. I think you put him in 4. If he goes out and, doesn't get there, 8 wins, 9 wins, then I think you put him 6. But I think he's right around that top 5.
Yeah, so you agree with him being 8 or no?
Right now, yeah. But this year, if he comes in, I think he cracks into that top 5.
I mean, yeah, if he has another good year, I think no question. Thanks for the call. I just think if you say it's solely based on who would you take right now, you're going to take Justin Herbert. You got to win a game. You can take Justin Herbert over Drake May. You can take Dak Prescott. The other 5 I'll give you. Again, I'd put him 6. I know he was second for the MVP last year, but, there's some of those guys were hurt and things like that. I still think Burrow's a better quarterback. He's just hurt all year last year. I still think I'd put him at 6. I still think they're being a little low on him. The fact that some GMs didn't have him in the top 10 is wild to me. I think that's too much. But maybe that's just me. Maybe that's me covering the Patriots and being too close to the team. I will say, it was not the most ridiculous quarterback list that was put out today. What are they doing out there? They're sprinting down the hall after each other.
Welcome to the night show, Barth.
Do they do any, work for the show?
A lot of content, They do a lot of work for the show before the show. The prep, the graphics, the ideas. They answer the phones, do the YouTube videos.
617-779-0985. You have a TikTok idea for intern Riley, and you want to tell her.
She might be exhausting all of them tonight. I don't know.
I was going to say, we were cooking up one during the break there I'm looking forward to. Scaz is going to star in one. But anyway, as I was saying, not the worst quarterback list today. The one from ESPN. It was okay. I mean, you can nitpick it for sure. How about this one from Chris Sims? Sunday Night Football. All-time, quote, in their prime quarterbacks. So I would imagine this is ranking each quarterback at his ceiling. Number 1 is Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning, peak Peyton Manning, better than any peak of any quarterback we've ever seen. Number 2, Patrick Mahomes. Number 3, Aaron Rodgers. Number 4, John Elway. Number 5, Brett Favre. Number 6, Josh Allen. Is peak Josh Allen the 6th best quarterback in the history of the league?
How dumb is Chris Sims?
Because we're missing somebody, right? We got it. Maybe he's at number 7. Nope, that's Lamar Jackson, another guy who's never won a Super Bowl. Number 8, it's another guy that's never won a Super Bowl. Dan Marino. And at number 9, Tom Brady. What the hell are we... Now that's offensive. Now that's wrong.
Is it even really offensive though? Because
yes,
it's so bad.
And this is the point. It's to get us to talk about it and to get attention. But no, shame, big shame on Chris Sims.
Imagine only having a career because of your dad and still being that bad at your job. That's tough. That's
all-time in their prime quarterbacks.
Nepotism is bad. It's really bad when you also are this dumb, I would say.
Let's just look at the accomplishments of the guys he has ahead of Brady. 2 Super Bowls, one where he was very much the passenger. He couldn't throw the ball more than 10 yards.
What's up with Peyton Manning's round in his record in the first round of the playoffs? Wasn't he like 1-9 to start his career or something?
Well,
like
so
that?
that's not his peak. I guess we're looking at him in a different round.
I mean,
in their prime.
He certainly wasn't at his peak when he won those Super Bowls.
No, especially the second one.
Yeah, so I don't know what Chris Sims is exactly going for there.
Number 2, Patrick Mahomes, 3 Super Bowls. Patrick Mahomes probably belongs in the top 5 on this list. 2's probably a little high, but okay.
Second best quarterback. I mean, I would have him 2 or 3. That's fine with me.
Number 3, Aaron Rodgers, 1 Super Bowl. Notorious choker.
Most overrated player of all time, maybe in any sport.
John Elway is 2, right?
Sounds right.
Does he have 2? I know they were both late. He lost a couple before he eventually won. 2.
Yep.
Back to back.
I would say that's good.
It's pretty good. Top 5, 8. Next guy only has 1. Won 1, lost 1. That's Brett Favre. Also, just never really had a phase in his career where he didn't throw a ton of interceptions.
Brett Favre was never the best QB in the league.
Didn't he win multiple MVPs?
I'm sure he did, but he was never the best QB in the league. Never.
I'm trying. So I guess it would be Marino. You don't think in like the late 90s he was?
I mean,
I guess young.
But I think you could go any year and pick a guy that was better than Brett Favre.
Well, so you had Montana and Marino early in his career. Obviously, later on, you get Manning and Brady. You could debate Rodgers, but he was kind of washed at that point anyway because he's already out of there. I don't know. I guess Peyton kind of had it going by like 98, 99. Yeah, it's debatable. Number 6, Josh Allen. Never even been to a Super Bowl. Notorious choker. Turns the ball over a ton. But yeah, in his prime, Number 7, Lamar Jackson. Can't get to a Super Bowl. Notoriously bad in the playoffs. Number 8, Dan Marino. Very talented. Never won one. What a stupid list this is. I kind of regret reading it now. I just needed people to know this was out there and annoying. Number 10, by the way, is Roger Staubach.
I just looked at 1995, Brett Favre's first MVP. He might have been the best QB in the league because Harbaugh was in the MVP race that year.
Who were the finalists?
It was Jerry Rice, Emmitt Smith, Favre, and Harbaugh, I believe, was the list I saw. So he was never the best player in the league. I feel comfortable saying that.
But I mean, a lot of quarterbacks weren't.
I think you could say Brady and Mahomes were the best player in the league.
Mahomes a better player than Aaron Donald? Myles Garrett?
That's a good one. It's fair. It's absolutely fair.
I'll give you best offensive player.
Yeah.
By the way, you want the passing leaders from that year? Yeah, he might have been. So Brett Favre won the MVP that year at 26. He threw for 4,400 yards, 38 touchdowns, also led the league, 13 picks. Number 2, Scott Mitchell from the Lions.
Yeah, you proved my point there.
Number 3, Warren Moon. A 39-year-old Warren Moon threw for 4,200 yards. I'll tip my cap there.
I think I'd take Warren Moon over
at
Brett
39.
Favre. Yeah, I think so.
All right. Number 4, Jeff George. Number 5, a 35-year-old John Elway. Jim Everett, Eric Kramer, Jeff Blake, a 34-year-old Dan Marino who only played 14 games, and Dave Craig round out the top 10. Drew Bledsoe was 11th that year in passing yards. Threw for 3,500, led the Patriots to a 6-9 record in games he started. I think Zoe got a couple starts that year. You had 29-year-old Aikman. Where are you on Aikman? I think Aikman's one of the more overrated.
I mean, I'm sure he's probably overrated. I think time has kind of been unkind to Aikman, but he's a winner. And I think winning matters. Not
according to Chris Sims. We're going to put Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and Dan Marino and Aaron Rodgers over Tom Brady.
The swirlies Brady gave Sims were like heinous or something. Where do you think this stems from?
He did. Yeah, that was pretty brutal.
Had to be, right?
Grab a quick call on this before we hit the break. Matt in Shrewsbury. Matt, what's up?
Oh, hey. Sorry, buddy. Hey, no, I want to talk about this list and how funny it is because clearly this list was made strictly to make people talk about it.
Yeah, I fell into the trap. I'll admit that. Handout.
One of the best offensive players in the history of the NFL, let alone quarterback. But if we're talking like just quarterback, like what is it based on? Because if we're talking athleticism, okay, Tom Brady should not be in the top 400 of athletic quarterbacks.
But then Peyton Manning certainly shouldn't be number 1.
Exactly. So what is this place? What is it based on?
Like you said, it's based on getting people to talk about it. I fell for the clickbait. It's just so bad.
So who do you think should be one then?
Brady, number one in their prime. Tom Brady.
Okay, all right. I think Brady's one too, but I'm obviously biased because I'm a New England sports fan. But I think Brady won. Peyton Manning maybe two.
I think it's between Manning, Mahomes, and Montana for two.
Montana, yeah, okay. Yeah, Montana, Mahomes. You know what? Actually, offensive players, Mahomes might be the second best offensive player of all time.
Yeah, he's up there. Thanks for
Jerry Rice.
the call, Matt.
I mean, if we're talking offensive players,
yeah, Jerry Rice, Barry Sanders.
Yeah,
Randy
Moss is in that conversation.
Joe Thomas, Randy Moss. Where do you have all-time receiver? You go Moss or Rice?
I go Rice. Yeah.
I go Moss. Just athletic freak. But I think I don't. You can go either way.
Yeah. Absolutely.
If I had to do this, best in their prime quarterbacks, Brady, the top five are, and again, I'm 32, so maybe that doesn't help. Brady,
Mahomes, Montana.
Manning, Montana.
I'd have Montana over Manning.
I know you said you don't like Rodgers. Rodgers in his prime was filthy.
A loser, though.
A loser, but the guy played an unbelievable style of football and never turned the ball over. Like, to play that way and not turn the ball over, some of those low interception numbers when he was making those ridiculous
I'd take
throws
Drew
is
Brees
insane.
over Rodgers.
He played in a dome in like an offense that was tailored to him putting up big numbers.
Aaron Rodgers got to play the Lions and the Bears forever when they sucked.
Oh, and the NFC South was a buzzsaw?
No, but I'm saying they're comparable.
I guess. Rodgers did it outdoors. I give him credit for doing it outdoors in the North.
I'm trying to think like other guys from around this era.
Yeah, I mean those are the guys from like our era growing up. Before you want to go back to the 90s.
People hate this. Roethlisberger should be considered a lot higher than people. I know he's a bad guy, whatever you want to say.
He's probably closer to that.
He's a top 15 probably quarterback all time. He's in that range.
He's probably closer to that group than not. I put him with like Rivers.
He's way better than Rivers. Come on.
Rivers was very talented. People underestimate how technically talented Phillip Rivers was. He didn't have the success. So again, Rodgers is closer to Rivers. He's not he's still ahead of Rivers, but I think he's closer to Rivers than he is to. Oh no, sorry, I got that backwards. He's closer to Breeze and Rodgers than he is to Rivers, but he's in between. And then you get into like Flacco and stuff. But no, I don't know if you go to the '90s, like Steve Young, you put in there. Warren Moon.
To bring this back to Drake May and the Patriots, what do you make of the 40% not having him on the ballot?
What do
you think that is?
1 year. It's only 1 year. They want to see more. They want to make sure he's not a flash in the pan. They want to make sure he's not, what C.J. Stroud was as a rookie. Which, again, it's supposed to be about the here and now, and you saw what he did last year. But I guess fine. If you don't believe it, you don't believe it. If you need to see more, you need to see more. I get it. It was just 1 year. I still think he should be top 10. I would just hope none of those people also voted for Caleb Williams. And none of those people also voted for Jaden Daniels. And none of those people, or didn't vote, sorry. I would hope those people also didn't vote for Caleb Williams. Also didn't vote for Jaden Daniels. Also didn't vote for Bo Nix. Also didn't vote for C.J. Stroud. Kind of these there's been 1 year of it, quarterbacks. I'll give you that. I would disagree. I think I saw enough last year to believe it's real. But that's just me. So, 617-779-0985. You have any thoughts on it? We'll come back to a quick musings. I do want to talk some Celtics. Actually, one of Riley's TikToks is a topic that I wanted to bring up. We'll do that coming up after this. It's Alex Barth and for Joe Murray on the Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. On the way on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
on stuff in the world unrelated to sports. So sit back, relax, and get your...
Earlier, in terms of like the slower season because of training camp, please stop saying the summer ends on the 4th of July. It doesn't. You're still going to the beach. You're still going golfing. You're still having cookouts. You're still going to the Cape or Maine or Winnipesaukee or wherever. Summer peaks on the 4th of July. It's definitely a little bit of a, I don't know, downturn dip, but it's still like, so it's fall right now. It's going to be 100-something degrees tomorrow. It's fall right now, please. Skaz, you got anything?
I mean, I'm kind of with you, Barth, as a guy who, I enjoy my summers. Patriot season is right around the corner. There was some training camp talk before the show, and we were, some people in the studio not so thrilled about it. I'm sure if Jeremy Conley was here, he wouldn't be thrilled about it either. But I got to be honest, Barth. I'm getting ready for football. My musing is I'm scared. I'm scared for when the World Cup ends and the Red Sox inevitably slump out of the All-Star break.
Well, but then it'll be training camp.
Well, we got to get there, though. What
do you mean we got to get it?
A couple weeks. So August, it's like, what, 3 weeks?
I mean, training camp week is next week. They open on the 25th, which is a Saturday. Vrabel will talk on the 24th. So you get a bunch of preview stuff on the 22nd and 23rd. So
when do you think Diana's going to talk?
I mean, I wouldn't hold your breath.
She's got to talk at some point, right?
Not really. I mean, she'll be back and she'll be doing... I could see her just starting a podcast or something and just doing football stuff, like just ignoring it. I don't know how successful it'll be. I don't think she's going to.
I think that's what they hope. For us, for us at night, I'm not opposed to it.
Well, I mean, you'll get other content.
Oh, we certainly will. Barth, do you ever have to deal with solicitors?
Yeah, you know what? I've been getting more spam calls lately. I don't think I gave my number out accidentally. I'm usually very careful about that. I can't imagine where it would be coming from.
I've been dealing with this with door-to-door solicitors.
Oh, no, I don't get that. Well, I live in an apartment.
The worst. So I have gone out, I've purchased a sign, no soliciting.
Yeah.
Just put it up today. We'll see how it goes. I'm skeptical if it's going to work, but these people are incessant.
What are they soliciting from you? Or what are they trying to get you to solicit?
They're trying to replace like siding and windows or like, they're like, oh, we just did the roof up down the street at, Danny's house. And I have no idea. No, you didn't. You didn't do that. I see you get dropped off in the morning when I'm walking the dog and you just walk around the neighborhoods and hope somebody will pay you to do something. So, yeah, I'm out on that. All my neighbors have the signs. I thought it was a little, you don't need the sign. You need the sign. So it's been installed. Well, we will report back, and we'll see how it goes.
All the fun of home ownership, right?
Oh, yeah. I got 3 dryers in my basement right now. One of them works.
Why do you have 3 dryers?
It's a long story, Barth. I had one that was there when we bought the house. It stopped working. I bought one off Facebook Marketplace, brought the broken one to the guy because he repaired them. Got the new one in my basement, didn't work. Asked him if he could just fix ours and bring it back. Neither of them worked, so I went out and bought a brand new one. So that one works. That one's in the basement. Now I just have 2 that don't work, that are now just sitting in my basement. So, yeah, that's home ownership right there. Sometimes you might have 3 dryers in your basement and only one of them works.
Andrew in Plymouth with a thought on when summer ends. Andrew.
Gentlemen, listen. Summer doesn't end in my brain until after, baseball October, second week of October. Once you start getting the frost on the grass, that's when summer ends. Because let's face the facts. Let's face the facts, guys. We have had, the weather's warm all the way through September, and then maybe mid-October it starts getting kind of nasty. What are your thoughts?
You're crazy. That's holding on way too long. Till the frost? So if it's 60 degrees out that summer? No. Labor Day. Football season. That's when summer ends. I like summer. I don't need it to run into October because I love fall. I'm in a fall's a great season. Fall might be the best season. So I'm not running summer in the fall. I think summer technically ends like mid-September, right? But Labor Day weekend. Those musings. I want to talk some Celtics. We'll do that next. First, quick check of the headlines. 90 seconds, no commercials, and we're right back. And everything else. But I think that it's time to turn the conversation for the Celtics. Now what? Where do they go from here? What can this team be? Floor and ceiling. And the interesting thing to me is, don't get me wrong, the Celtics are a good team. They've been a very good team. But they also played in a very weak Eastern Conference. I think the power balance is starting to shift. The Sixers obviously got better. The Knicks just won a championship. You have to give them credit. The Cavs are a young team getting better. The Pistons are a young team getting better. The Pacers will get Halliburton back. The Heat went out, added Giannis. And we'll see where LeBron lands. They're going to have to fight and claw for this thing. Like, they could be are they going to be like the 5th, 6th team in the East, something like that? You know, it's all the pressure on Jason Tatum, which begs the question, are they truly going to make this kind of a bridge year? Or are they going to continue to add to the team and go for it? And something I was talking about yesterday, Jason Tatum spotted at a concert in New York City with LeBron James. Could LeBron James sign with the Celtics? Now, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think, for a number of reasons, LeBron is going to play his final NBA season in Boston. I think the history of him in the franchise, of him in the city, is too much. I also don't think it's his best chance to win a title. I think that's probably Philly at this point. If he goes to Philly, that's not just a collection of stars. It's a very complete team. It's an excellent team. And they should be the favorites in the East. Miami obviously has its attraction. And then, just the storybook of going back home to Cleveland to end it, where it all began 20-something years later, would be a draw too. But it's an interesting thought. Like, the big question I had, this was my big question, I know I wasn't the only one, was, all right, you traded Jaylen Brown, you added this future flexibility, I understand that. I'm not going to push back on that. Where I push back on the trade of Jaylen Brown is Jason Tatum's 28. By the time that future flexibility cashes in, he's going to be in his mid-30s. So you blew his prime. If you turned it around and signed LeBron James, well, all right. Now you're capitalizing on the window. I think he can still play. Street Team Joe's into that. You want to see LeBron James here? Yeah? Skaz, how about you? LeBron on the Celtics?
No.
You wouldn't want it?
That's okay. I mean, sure. I hypothetically, yes, but there's...
You were just talking the last segment wanting content. I mean, LeBron is a Celtic. Final dance here? Come on. That's an awesome story.
Is it?
Yes. Oh, my God, yes.
Is that a better story than him going back to Cleveland?
For us, yes. You're going to talk about him in Cleveland every night?
Certainly not every night, no.
I would say, again, I think there's better landing spots for him for a basketball standpoint.
I think it would be bad for the Celtics almost.
I think it would be good for the Celtics. I think he adds a lot of what they need.
Which is?
Playmaking, rim presence.
No. I like LeBron more than most in this area. I think he's, the greatest basketball player of all time, but I don't think he is that now.
Well, there's that thing. He averaged 20 points a game last year. He's not going to play every night, obviously, but
so did Anthony Simons. There's guys can score 20.
What do you have, like 7 assists, 8 assists per game?
Look, I wouldn't be totally out on it, but he's going to Cleveland or Philly, I think. Maybe Miami. That would be kind of funny.
I'm with you. Just the idea of him in Boston, though, I can't totally escape.
Yeah, he can hang out with his buddy John Henry. They could talk Sox.
That's right. Red Sox owner back in town. Maybe finally the team would get some attention from ownership. I was saying this on the radio yesterday. There's really no comparison to just, again, the story of it. There's no comparison of somebody who is a Boston sports, a true villain. When you look at some of the games LeBron has had against the Celtics, obviously that Game 6 in 2012 is the big one that comes up, right? But that would be like, we've had him go the other way. Johnny Damon to the Yankees, Adam Vinatieri to the Colts, Ray Allen to the Heat, Curtis Martin to the Jets, Bill Parcells to the Jets. Like, it's gone the other way. Derek Jeter never played here. Peyton Manning, Ed Reed, Ray Lewis never played here. Imagine if the Bruins ended up somehow adding Jordan Binnington down the line. If Matt Cook had came here back in the day. Like, there's...
Can I give you a quick Jordan Binnington take?
Please.
Have you been, paying attention to Michael Felger's goalie takes at all in the World Cup?
He doesn't want to pay the goalie.
No, the World Cup goalies.
That they don't pick up the ball.
That they're, terrible and the goalie position is being taught wrong and he'll fix it. And basically soccer is totally wrong in how they're teaching the goalie position.
This rings a bell now.
To that, I would tell Michael Felger, has he ever seen the country of Canada and the amount of importance they put in the sport of hockey? And the greatest goaltender that country can produce was Jordan Binnington this past year.
Well, because they all want to be Sidney Crosby. None of them want to be Carey Price anymore.
Part of my point, but also just the fact that, like, it's not that easy, Mike. The whole goalie thing. It may be his most American take of all time, which is saying something. But that's been crawling up my ass the entire World Cup. Is just Felger's had some bad takes, obviously.
Okay, but can you admit the other players are way too soft?
Sure, they're soft. You can say that about literally any sport. They all flop now. Basketball flops more. Football flops more. Yeah. Everybody flops more. I hate that argument. If football's way different than it used to be, we're still going to watch, guys. Enough with complaining about the flopping. It's part of the sport. They use it to their advantage. If that's going to turn you off that much, I don't know how you're watching the other major sports as well. But Jordan Binnington represented the country that cares and has invented hockey, basically, and build their entire nation on it. So that's all. That's my only point. Maybe it's not just that easy.
That's fair.
That's all.
I also just think being a soccer goalie, like, you're not nearly as involved. What's like a high volume game for soccer goalie? Like 5 saves, 6 saves? I guess it's a bigger net.
What Timmy Howard had against Belgium back in the day.
Yeah, well, because the U.S. sucked and Belgium got to tee off. I mean, in like a real game between two real teams. Yeah, if you play for a really bad country, you're going to get a lot of shots. By the way, Wilson Contreras has advanced. Ben Rice, 7 home runs. That's it.
Aww. So Jazz Chisholm really lit up the home run derby for the Yankees the last couple years, right?
Yeah, they could both come in last place. We'll see. We got Junior Camanero's halfway through his swing. He's already at 6. So he is the 6th player to go. Oh, but they're saving the 2 Phillies for last, of course. We'll get Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber back to back here, but Camanero's hitting some. That was a rope. Wow.
What do you think of Bryce Harper saying they should be able to use metal bats in the home run derby?
I mean, on one hand, I think it would be fun just to see what they could do. On the other hand, for the sake of everybody in attendance, I think that's a terrible idea.
I'd like to
for
see
safety.
I'd like to see the MLB's insurance, be there for that pitch.
If you're willing to clear everybody out of all the stands in the outfield and only have people sit behind the plate, by all means, it would be cool to see. How about for golf? They use. You ever see those? They don't make them anymore. I think they were Tyler's or TaylorMade. I stumbled upon them one summer when I was living on Cape Cod. They were called outlaw balls.
Oh, are they the ones that are like super loud?
They're not. Well, no, they're just not like legal. Like they're too bouncy.
Oh, no, I've not seen
They
those.
add like 30 to 40 yards. And so me and my buddy, we were like 20 years old. We'd go down to the course and just see how far we could hit them. And we weren't claiming we were long drive contestants or anything. But yeah, give all the PGA guys outlaw balls.
I'm in on that.
For an event. Let me see if I can find these online. All right, so there's a bunch of companies have them. There's Golf Sidekick literally has a list called Best Illegal Golf Balls for 2026. Playing illegal golf balls in a competition is cheating. But what about using them for a casual round with your friends? That's basically what I did. What is the number one illegal golf ball? Polaris self-correcting two-piece golf balls. I'm going to have to look into this during the break. No, they were called outlaw balls, and they just went too far. There was like one box of them left. Here's how long ago this was. There was one box of them left at Sports Authority. And I was like, this would be a fun little novelty thing. Give the golfers that and give the baseball players metal bats. We got to hit the break. When we come back, Bobby Manning, CLNS Media, joins us from Celtics Summer League. We'll talk some Celtics with him. Plus your calls, 617-779-0985. Alex Barth in for Joe Murray on the Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe. You're listening to
Only at 4 home runs with 11 swings left. But Wilson Contreras and Jordan Walker are through. Junior Caminero and Munetaka Murakami waiting. Murakami's at 9, so that's the number to beat right now. I'll tell you, this is so much better. I still miss the outs. I still miss the inevitability of it. I do like that the last swing you get to keep going until you get an out. So that brings back a little bit of that unpredictability. But it looks like a real event again. Just the pageantry of it, right? It's not, okay, the player's here, the ball's here, it's flying out, we got a ticker here, we got a ticker here. You see the player swing. They cut to the back camera. You see the ball go. They've got, a little thing on the bottom. I wish they showed the overall standings. They're only showing the guy who's up where he's at. As I say that, they put up number to beat, 9. Schwarber's at 6 with 6 to go. And then if he hits a far one, they show there's a cool little graphic that comes up with the distance. So this is pretty good. Look at that. The behind the plate camera, you see the ball fly out. Now they zoom in on where it landed. You get the reaction shots. He gets to take his time. He doesn't have to burn himself out. Oh, this is so much. This is like the old home run derby. This is like the home run derby I used to watch growing up. And it does look like Schwarber is going to advance. Is that fair or foul? Just fair. Or so I guess he's tied. He needs one more to ensure he advances. This would be to force a swing off. But this is, and it's in Philly. He's playing up to the crowd. This is so much better. This is so much, and he gets a moment. This is so much better than that ridiculous clock format. I can't believe they did that for 10 years. They might have fixed the home run derby. I'm into it. Yeah, and he's advanced. Upper deck. But good. Good. I'm glad this is a good product again. I'm excited. Now, this is going to be interesting, though. So he's at 10 with 1 swing left. Caminero's at 12. So he needs to get to at least 12. Because as it stands right now, the 2 Phillies players that are in, again, it's in Philadelphia, it would be Harper to knock Schwarber off. And did he get it? No. He's at 10. So it's only going to be 1. It's only going to be 1 Philly who's left. All right, we got Bobby Manning now joining us. I believe he is at Summer League in Las Vegas. Right, Bobby? Thanks for taking the time, and thanks for being a little flexible with us with the phone system there.
No problem. What's going on, Alex?
What's going on? Big time of year for you, right? This is I know everybody says this is kind of like the NBA's version of the NFL Combine. Is this something that, do you look forward to this every year, or is it just a part of the calendar you have to get through?
No, I love this. This is my favorite event, favorite part of the year, because everybody's here. And I guess it does compare the Combine in that way. But you have not only the coaches and staff of the Summer League roster with the players, but also Joe Mazzulla is here. He talked to us the other day. Tatum was here for a day. We didn't talk to him. Jordan Walsh, Derek White. Having the star players here, too, I think is what makes it really interesting. I know Kawhi Leonard's here, too, is with that trade up in the air. So, there's so many people to run into and so many events going on. It runs a little long with the week and a half. And even today, Celtics started sitting some guys. I'm flying out of here tonight. You do run into the Vegas wall a little bit after 5 days, but it's great. There's a lot of opportunities to do a lot of cool stuff, or even just networking, seeing the other reporters. This is my 6th one, and I've loved every one.
That's awesome. Yeah, all the 5 days in Vegas. I did the Shrine Bowl there a couple years ago. I think we were there for 5 or 6 days, and it adds up a little bit after a few days. Let's talk about the guys on the floor before we talk about some of the bigger players who are there in attendance, not playing. Chris Sennick kind of showed up, been a guy. Is he going to play his way into a regular role for the Celtics? Can he play his way into a regular role for the Celtics this upcoming season?
Yeah, I think so. Baylor Sharman is a rookie, got in the mix late in that season after spending the first half of the year in Maine. Hugo Gonzalez obviously did last year throughout the schedule, so there's some precedent for a guy getting involved sooner than expected. I'd assume he'll start the year in Maine. Still trying to figure out if he's more of a 4 or 5. He was playing next to Amari through some of the early games here, Amari Williams. So he had the 4 experience of the first 2 games, and then today 4 more blocks. And he now has 9 blocks through 3 games here, and he only had 18 in 37 games with Houston last season. So he's already into a new role. He saw the game-tying 3 in the first game, so he's got the shot. I think what they're probably going to try to do is just adapt him to their system. He had to play a certain way for Houston last season, and now he's going to have to play a significantly different role. I'd, again, assume mostly center for the Celtics. And that's, going to force him to roll, shoot around the rim a lot more. He did not shoot at the rim often last season. And, it definitely leans jump shooter more than interior presence on offense. And, Amari last year, Keita, others have had to adapt to being, downhill rim threats off rolls, setting the right screens, all that kind of stuff. So I think it's going to take him some time, especially if Garza, Robinson, and Keita are healthy in front of him. I'd be shocked if he wasn't in Maine to start the year, but an injury strikes and he's in the mix.
Again, we're talking to Bobby Manning, CLNS Media. Is there anybody else that stood out to you that you think could make a push for a role this upcoming season?
Well, Dylan Mitchell, still unsure if he'll be a 2-way or the last roster spot. I think there's probably some momentum toward him getting the last roster spot after a 24-point game yesterday, and then came out and shot well again today in this one. And, speaking of CNAC's, block milestone today, already getting halfway to his blocks last year, Mitchell in 2 games now, yesterday and today, hit more threes than he did all of last season at St. John's. So they've already made a tweak with his shot. They've already been getting him more aggressive outside the arc. The shooting numbers were pretty ghastly last season with St. John's, and he hasn't been guarded by defenses out here. And I think that's going to be the big thing they look for from him, is developing that so he's some kind of threat on offense. I like his cutting. The Celtics aren't a team that cuts a lot. He gets on transition well. He's great defender. So there's some spots you could see him get involved. But I think an interesting thing is, I think about the roster now is Tatum, George, Shireman, Walsh, Ron Harper. They have 8 wings all vying for minutes, and Mitchell is obviously at the bottom of that list. So it's going to take some developments, maybe a trade mid-season, some sort of consolidation move. And even just talking to people out here, you do start to see around the league, teams are going to start trading strength for strength a little more. And Celtics obviously a little weaker at the guard spot. Do you see some consolidation at some point among all these wings? Because you look up and there aren't going to be a lot of minutes for Jordan Walsh. There aren't going to be a lot of minutes for some of the wings who have gotten some in recent seasons. And they're going to have to sort all that out, because they have a ton of wings on this roster, which, it's depth, but it's also a thing where as guys get a little deeper into their careers now, they're going to be looking for some minutes, and it's going to be a battle between 4 or 5 guys at that position.
So the reporting was that Celtics are done. There's no other shoe to drop, big move with the Jaylen Brown trade for this year. Brad Stevens kind of hinted towards that in his press conference last week. What kind of move do you think would be realistic, if at all, for the Celtics to build on this team as it currently exists?
Yeah, I think you're going to keep an eye on either them trying to split up George into a couple of different contracts, if they can do that into, maybe 2 players that fill different positions for them, or them trying to make a move for a guy that they would like more than him. I know everyone talks about Trey Murphy. There's no indication, even talking to some people out here, that that'll happen. But if you get into that Desmond Bane territory with first-round picks, and the Celtics do have the ability to do that if and when they want to now after the Jaylen trade, I don't think he's untouchable in New Orleans. So a lot of people talk about him. I haven't heard any other names that have blown me away, and I do think you see on their social media, and even Brad talking last week, 2 weeks ago now, it feels like George is going to be part of this thing going into next year. Next summer, I think, is where that gets more interesting with his expiring contract. They haven't introduced him yet. and he hasn't been out here, so I think that's at least mildly interesting. But I put it at 80%, when I was talking on the Garden Report the other day of chance he'll be here next season. I do think something could arise that changes that, but even talking with some people out here, if they did make a move for Trey Murphy, I don't think it would actually be George going out the door. Maybe it'd be several younger players, and of course the load of picks. And I think the interesting thing now, Alex, from now through next summer is, are they keeping those picks and drafting, developing, going in a youth direction now, or are they going to consolidate all this stuff and try to bring in Jaylen Brown's replacement per se at some point? I think they're probably going to try to figure that out on the fly.
Doing the Nets picks thing again. I've been there, done that as Celtics fans. I'll ask you about this one move. I don't think it's going to happen. I'd be very surprised, but I'm too fascinated by what the story would potentially be. LeBron James is taking calls. The Celtics could use a player that has his skill set. Just what?
Hey, he was at Yankee Stadium with Tatum, right?
That's where this all kind of came from. I was getting calls on it yesterday. Would that move make any basketball sense? I mean, if you think it's more realistic than I do, feel free to push back. But just from a basketball standpoint, do you think that would help the Celtics? And I'm just curious, as somebody who covers the league and who's covered the league, what that kind of story would mean to LeBron, to the Celtics, to basketball if he were to come to Boston.
Yeah, I feel like we've been talking about the outside chance of that happening for years now. And they did get on the whiteboard, right? It wasn't a super convincing appearance, but it was just Tatum and Brad as the pitch.
You're talking about Rich Paul had a whiteboard of potential teams for LeBron James.
Yeah, so on that podcast with Max Kellerman that he does. So the appeal of Boston, who did make it on there among 8 teams or so, was Tatum and Brad. I don't think that's gonna beat out a Cleveland return, which, again, for all the conversation and hype around this, you just have to think that that's the direction this is going in. They're a good team. They're in the East, and the storyline set up if this is going to be his last season for him to go out. I know the fit with Harden would be dicey. I'm still open-minded to Golden State if they pursue Davis. And honestly, I would if I was them. They're all in with the veterans anyway and trying to make this thing work over the last year or two of Curry's prime, post-prime here. So, give up a handful of picks and go get Anthony Davis and LeBron. I think that'd be worth it for them to try to get back in the mix. So those are the two teams I'm looking at. It feels like this is all inevitably going to be Cleveland. I don't see Miami with the fit and even just how it ended there. So, it's a great conversation after 3 weeks. I think that's all it really is him stretching this out, keeping the attention on himself, some content for everybody involved in all of this. But I ultimately think it's going to be, let's wrap it up where it began in Cleveland. And I don't think that scares you a ton if you're the Celtics, but if I'm assuming Cleveland's going to have LeBron, I'd put them third in the East, right in that mix at the top again. It's a really good team.
What if he goes to Philly? Where would you have Philly in the East with LeBron?
Oh, Philly's an interesting one. I wasn't even thinking about that. I know he met with the GM out here and some of their brass. It'd be awkward, and I already think it is a little bit with the Sixers. All the ball handlers they have, all the mouths to feed, Jalen joining that mix, and then LeBron dropping him another spot. Edgecombe, needs some touches too. But if he wants to come, you take him. And that's how I feel with the Celtics too, right? If it somehow went in that direction, if LeBron wants to join your team, even at this age, especially on a mid-level or minimum even, he's talking about taking, it'd be enormous value for whoever would get him. I think he'd be a great organizer for Philly, and they need that at the moment. But at the same time, I think there's a lot of stuff that he wants in terms of being the man on and off the court, having the whole thing revolve around him. I know he took a step back in LA last season and it wasn't as much of that, but in Philly, I just think it's already pretty complicated, and I think it'd get even more so. But man, you do start to think of that as an outside possibility, and it's interesting. I just can't picture it in my mind right now. It doesn't seem right, especially at the end of his career, to just be in that random of a situation.
He is Bobby Manning. He covers the Celtics. He's out in Vegas. If you want more Summer League coverage from him, at Real Bob Manning on Twitter. You can find him with CLNS. Bobby, thanks so much for taking the time.
Thanks, Alex. Good talking to you.
All right, we got to get a check of these headlines. We'll come back and wrap this thing up. It's Alex Barth in for Joe Murray on the Sports Hub.
Sports Hub headlines.
The first round of the Home Run Derby in the books. Wilson Contreras, the Red Sox representative, not just advanced. I thought I'd like it because I got rid of the stupid clock, but even without the outs, it still flows well. They were done with the first round at like 9:30-ish, a little after 9:30, hour and a half. Going to be another hour and a half for the rest of it, out at 11. 3-hour product. Well done. Good stuff by Major League Baseball. Tip my cap. Now fix the All-Star game and the playoff format and all that, but good start. If you're watching, I'm curious your thoughts. 617-779-0985. The one other thing I did want to talk about tonight that I think is interesting. We're just talking Celtics with Bobby Manning and where do they go from here. I think the Sixers are going to be, it's going to be one of those things this year in Boston. I don't want to say like the Bucks in Tampa with Brady because it was different, obviously. But I do think there's an element of, like, we're going to be following that team and Jaylen Brown to see what they do. And on that note, is there already trouble in paradise? Jaylen Brown and Joel Embiid apparently have not spoken since the trade. Now, if you remember, Jaylen Brown was publicly critical with Embiid after that series ended. Talking about he's the reason, like I'm trying to find the exact quote. I know Riley sent it to me. I'll find it. I don't know if we have it in the system there, Skaz, but unhappy with the flopping from Joel Embiid, kind of called him out for that. I think his exact quote was like, he's ruined the game or something.
Joe tonight also threw a lot of, obviously he was mixing and matching a lot. You talked about the pace you guys played of playing small a lot. Do you wish you guys kind of tried that maybe a little earlier in this series of just going small? Obviously with Embiid back, he seemed to just change the complexion of the series.
Yeah, I mean, it was tough. Embiid put a lot of pressure on us, like on all our bigs, on our guards. Like, you know, we didn't really have an answer for him. We tried a bunch of different things, and he's a big body. And he just, he also was flopping around. He got some extra calls and stuff like that, and they rewarded him for that. But, that's the league that we're in. So, I mean, that's all I got to say.
And he went a little more directly at him on one of his streams, too. So, there was some reporting today, Tracy McGrady saying they hadn't spoken. Do you think there's going to be maybe a problem in Philly? You think maybe everybody doesn't get along? Because that would be quite the twist if there's suddenly a problem there. Let's go to Brandon in Boston. He wants to talk Celtics. Brandon.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Thanks for taking my phone call. So I don't know if you guys have been looking at the Summer League, but, man, Dylan Mitchell and Sanak, man, they are tearing the league up right now. And I see potential in them, and I'm actually studying to be a sports scout. Sorry, I'm all trembling over my words, but these guys have potential. You don't stat these two players in Maine. We want to see them on the bench and starting early, just like how these other teams are developing their players, like OKC, the Warriors. They're not stashing them away, but I mean their transition, like how they move in transition, attacking the basket and their outside shot, man. You have to put them in the lineup early. Not saying start them, but you have to put them out there and let them feel the NBA. They're going to put pressure on people. When you see those, that's a duo right there. When you talk about Jason Tatum and Brown, that's like a Jason Tatum and Brown duo right there. But Dylan and Sanak going to work. I like what I see from them.
Thanks for the call, Brandon. They've been good. I think it just comes down to, you got to remember who they're playing, right? This is essentially a college all-star game. And who's ahead of them? Sanak might have a chance to play a little bit just because they need a third center. It's going to be between him and Amari Williams, I would think, for that role. And, I would hope the Celtics are deep enough that they don't have to go to these guys. Skaz, do you think there's a chance we see Sanak or Dylan Mitchell play real minutes for the Celtics this year?
I think there's a chance Dylan Mitchell doesn't make the roster.
Okay, so that would prevent that.
I think they're both fine players. I want to be nice to Brandon. They went, let me see here, 1 of 5 from beyond the arc today. 7 turnovers. They were both minus almost double digits. I mean,
yeah, Senek minus 13.
It's the summer league. You just called them Tatum and Brown. I mean, what are we doing here?
This is not. This is Aaron Baines being as good as Bill Russell territory.
Or who was the other? Steamsma there. Yeah.
Oh, Steve. Right. That's right. Aaron Baines was all of Australia.
All of us.
All of Australia.
Would you like to hear Jaylen Brown on his stream talking about Joel Embiid?
Yeah, let's get back to that. Jaylen Brown on Joel Embiid.
Flopping has ruined our game. Joel Embiid is a great player, one of the best bigs in basketball history. Flops.
He flops.
Yeah, I can't imagine that's going to. Hey, Joel, good to see you. Oh, you saw that? Well, now you're flopping for me, so I'm into it. Yeah, all right, maybe there will be an issue there. Now, players have talked trash about each other and ended up on the same side. It's happened. It's hardly uncommon. But that is an interesting angle of this. And if there is a problem between Brown and really anybody in Philly, Embiid, Maxey, if they sign LeBron, I know we said some stuff about LeBron before, about Bronny. That's going to make the Celtics look pretty good. And suddenly you'll start hearing a lot. They ran some of those hit pieces when they trade them. Those are going to get a lot louder. Celtics brass feels justified. Celtics people with the Celtics were not surprised to hear that, and on and on and on. But it's an interesting potential twist to it. Jordan Walker is advanced in the home run derby. He got by Junior Caminero. He only needed to hit 5. So the bracket thing does keep it moving because Caminero got 15 swings. He hit 5. Walker got 15 swings, but obviously once he gets to the 6, he's done. He's set. He's advanced. So now we will get Wilson Contreras against the hometown kid, Kyle Schwarber. This has been a great product. The only knock I've really seen on social media is people saying Netflix is switching the cameras too much. I'm admittedly not paying as close attention as people probably sitting at home on their couch watching. I'm obviously working. I'm doing the show. I've enjoyed it. I think some of the specific camera angles have been excellent, which, again, we did not get in the past because of the clock. This has been good. We're gonna have to. And meanwhile, so people say it takes too long. Most of it's over. There's 4 hitters left. It's going to be the 2 in this round and then the 2 in the finals. And then that's going to be it. They're going to get this thing done by 11 o'clock. Easy. Good showing for their home run derby. I'm glad it's back. Kind of. Although, I don't know. The swings thing, it's not as dramatic as the outs, but there's something to it. There's a little something to it. I think we're going to fit a couple more calls in here before we head out. Will in Manchester. Will.
Hey, Barth, I had a quick question about the Celtics. Love your take on it. Love you on there, always.
Thank you.
What do you think is a successful season for the Celtics next year in the postseason? Is it a top 3 seed? Is it anything else? What do you think?
Yeah, thanks for the call, Will. I think it's very important that you specified a successful season in the postseason. I think that is a good qualification from you because I do not care what the Celtics do in the regular season. If they win 60 games, it doesn't matter. The way they've gotten bounced in the playoffs the last years in embarrassing fashion against inferior teams, they got to make some noise in the post. If they win 60 games and still get bounced in the first round, I'm sorry, the Jaylen Brown trade didn't fix anything. We won more games in the regular season. Doesn't matter. They're not an upstart team. They're superstars 28. What would be a successful postseason run?
Eastern Conference Finals.
I was even going to say, if they run into a better team in the semifinals and put up a good fight, if they just get to the second round, I was going to say, don't lose to a team worse than you.
Don't lose as a minus 900 favorite would be nice.
Right. Don't lose because they're not the best team in the East anymore. They used to be. And so that was the expectation. I think conference finals would be great if they were tough out in the semifinals against the Sixers. Well, against the Sixers, there's layers to that because they're going to lose to Jaylen Brown. But you might be right. Might be making the conference finals. But definitely not losing as the better team. One more real quick. David in the car. David.
Hey, yeah, just one thought I've really had about the Jaylen Brown trade.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody's talked about it, but, the same way that we're looking at the trade and, why did they give him up for, nothing? You saw the Luka trade. They gave him up for nothing. Is there really something going on with the NBA finances and these all these caps that are really forcing teams? I mean, are the Celtics really ahead of this? Do you think there's going to be more teams that are just going to start trading away really good players?
Yeah, David, the NBA tax system's a mess. I don't know that the Celtics are ahead of it so much. They're the first ones to be